Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Papercrafts here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in central Scotland. I'm back again today with this project here, which is a long, narrow gift box that I made to hold a gift of some rainbow soaps that I bought for a friend. But I guess the box could be adapted to fit chocolate bars and the likes, things like that. I wanted to concentrate on the Brights family, so I used 4 colours from the Brights family: Granny Apple Green to stamp the leaves, Gorgeous Grape for the flowers, Lovely Lipstick for the little flowers here, and Highland Heather for these little bits in between. Excuse me. And I tied a piece of my Lovely Lipstick grosgrain ribbon, an 1/8 of an inch round the side, and my ever faithful champagne rhinestones as well. I have lifted this panel up on dimensionals. I'm not sure if I like it or not, so the box that I'm going to make just now with you on camera, I'm actually going to stick it flat and see which I prefer. The stamp set I used is one of our celebration sets, which is the Thoughtful Blooms, being very popular, but it is a free stamp set with a £45 purchase, and we only have 10 days of celebration left. So if you do want this stamp set, you'll need to be quick, so get your order in, and if it's £45 or more, if this is the one you're after, you can add that to your shopping basket as well. If you do want to ask about shopping, then get in touch and I'm more than happy to lend a hand. But I thought I would recreate this box this time using the Subtles family rather than the Brights. So for the box I'm going to make today, I'm going to use these 4 colours from the Subtles family: Pear Pizzazz, So Saffron, Petal Pink and Soft Sea Foam. So I'm going to move all these out of the way for now, and I'm going to show you how I made it. Pop you out of the way. So to begin with, you're going to need a piece of cardstock which measures 11¼ inches along here by 6½ inches for the actual box. And then the 2 panels on the top, your coloured panel needs to be, let me remind myself, 9½ inches by 2¼ and the white cardstock for stamping on needs to be 9¼ by 2. Okay, so I will pop a blog post up in the next few days just to go over these measurements again. So let's do a bit of scoring. Bring in my scoreboard and try and avoid the glare as much as I can without going out of shot. I'm just going to check that you can still see that, yeah, without too much glare. So on the long side, let me just remind myself of my measurements. On the long side you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 10¼ and 10¾ and on the short side we're going to score at 2½, oops, 3, 5½ and 6, and that's your scoring done. And I'm just going to fold and burnish on all my score lines. There's quite a few toty ones, all these 1/2 inch scores. There we go. Score it on this side. Sorry if I just poked you in the eye with the card there. I think I maybe bopped the camera. There we are. And the last one is here. There we go. So looking at, I don't know what that mark is, but it's going to be on the inside anyway. At this side of your box here, you've got 2 panels, but only a single panel along here. So this is actually the bottom of the box, this is the top of the box, and part of this forms the lid with the flap that actually folds inside to keep it closed. So cutting wise, we'll start at the bottom, and we need to remove this little square here completely, but cut it at a bit of an angle here, and the same at this end, cut at a bit of an angle because this is the panel that's going to join your box together, and then just remove these 2 squares here completely. So all we've done at the minute is cut the little end panels off of top and bottom of the box, and like most other boxes, these little squares are going to form the flaps on the inside of the box, so just miter them slightly. Again, taking the score line off as you cut up these score lines, and just wedge in a little bit. So the bottom of your box is going to look like this, and then along the top, let me remind myself now, this is the panel we're going to keep, because that's going to fold over to keep our box closed. So we need to cut down here, and remove this panel completely. I'm sticking to my small scissors today, I've not had much success with my big scissors, so going all squinty. And cut down here just to that second score line, and then we're going to remove the outer squares on both and wedge just a little bit, not too much, for these little flaps that are going to go inside the lid when it closes. Same again on here, take that one off and wedge here and wedge here. That's it. Okay, so that's all the cutting done. So just to hover that for a little minute, here's the bottom of the box here. So you've got the 2 longer panels and the flaps that are going to go on the inside. We've got our side flap here, wedged at each end, and then at the top we've got a flat panel here, 2 inside flaps here, and this is the flap that's going to come over and close the box. So before I do anything else, I'm going to bring in my corner rounder and just round these corners on the lid. It's not too happy about going in there, I think it's because I've got it facing the wrong way. And then this corner here. It's hard to push on that punch when you're sitting down. So there we go. So we need to put some tear and tape on, and first I'm going to pop a bit along this side panel here, near the fold but not on it. There we go. And just tear that off here, and then I'm going to turn it over and just add a little bit, and this is just personal preference for holding the box together. It just gives the back flap something to adhere to when I'm putting the box together, but you can miss this step out. You don't have to put tape on everything, I just do, so that whatever I'm putting in the box doesn't get caught on the flaps at the bottom if they lift up, because it's too far to be able to put your hand in. And then turning it back to what is the inside of the box, I'm just going to add a piece of tear and tape here, which will be the front flap, which is the last flap that we're going to fold over when we put the box together, and it's always the flap between these 2 little shoulder flaps here. So just give these an extra press, and then I'm just going to take the backing off. Actually no, I'm not. Do you know, I'm going to do my stamping. I'm going to put this to the side just now and then do my stamping and put the the panels on before I do anything else. So I'm going to bring in my Whisper White card if I can get a hold of it, and I'm just going to try and centre it by eye more than anything, using my grid paper just as a bit of a guide until I pop my sentiment on. And I'm going to use my So Saffron ink to stamp my sentiment, making sure that I get it the right way round, and hopefully that'll be straight and kind of in the middle. Not bad, I'm happy with that. I'll put this ink away for now. And then because I'm going to be stamping off the edge of my paper, I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of grid paper here, and I'm going to bring in my pear pizzazz, which I'm going to use for my leaves. And before I do anything else, I'm going to actually position these around my sentiment, and I'm actually paying attention to these little end stalks here because I'm going to add little flowers onto those, so I want to be able to leave room to do that. So just give that a good press down. I did clean this stamp, but it's looking a bit unhappy. I'm bringing that across here, and then just adding other bits wherever I think, and adding a couple of little bits here, just bearing in mind where those little stalks are, as I say, so that I'm not overlapping any of my little flowers. Maybe add that about there. Give it a good press down. I think I need to give my stamp set another clean, and then bringing some leaves in here and some down in this corner here. I'm not going to overdo the leaves, but I don't want any sort of empty corners. You can add a few in there, and then just carefully look at where I'm going to add leaves around my sentiment, and I think I'll turn that round and kind of do the same coming in from the top. I'll maybe do that there. There we are. So that's all my leaves stamped, and my thumb in my ink pad. I'll wipe that off before I get it all over the place. And then I'm going to come back in with my So Saffron and this flower here. So just to recap with the picture on the stamp set, I've stamped these leaves using this stamp here. I'm going to use this larger flower here. I'm going to use this smaller flower here, and I'm actually going to use this one just to fill in some of the gaps round about as well. So I'm going to add my flower in the gaps and hopefully get it in the middle, because I'm not right above where I'm working because of the camera. That could have been better, but you get the idea. I'm just trying to get the flower in between all the stalks. That's a little bit better, and pop one there. And I've actually worked out that if you look at the spacing in the middle of these leaves, these parts here have got enough room for one petal to go between, and this one here leaves enough room for two petals. So I've been kind of using that as a bit of a guide as to where to stamp the flowers. That wasn't very good at all, Karen, but I can't get my head right above it because all you'd see is my hair, and I'm having a very bad hair day today, so you really don't want to see that at all. So that's my So Saffron flowers, and then I'm going to come in with my petal pink and this little flower here, and just add those onto those little short stems that I was speaking about earlier, and try and get them lined up as best I can, but forgive me if they're not entirely straight because I'm looking at it from an angle, although you're looking at it from straight above. There's a space for one here. I hope I'm keeping that in shot. Apologies if I'm not. I've got a tendency to pull it towards me when I can't see directly above it, so I do apologise. Try that one there. Add that little one there. Some of them are going in the right place, some of them not quite so, but you get the idea of what we're trying to achieve. Any more? Yep, and there's one here. Oops, that's way off. Put that one on there. I see another one here. And I see one here. You're probably all shouting, there's another bit, there's another bit. And one here. And I think we've got them all this time, I think. There's one here that kind of goes off the page, so we can pop a couple of little petals just to add a little bit of colour. And I think that's them all, so we'll leave it at that for now. Oh, there's another one that I did find. You've probably seen it before me. I think that is it this time, but I'll leave that as it is for now, and any more later I can pick them up again. And then I'm going to use my soft sea foam. Let's change this block over to add this little flower here, just filling in some of the gaps in between. So we'll start over this side, and I'm not going to overdo it. I'm one of these crafters where I kind of see a space and then think, oh, I better add something in there, and I better add something in there, and then before I know it I think, too much, and I don't like it. So I'm trying very hard not to do that. Just enough to fill in all the white gaps in between. And I see I've got a little smudge there, but hopefully that'll not be too noticeable. Add a bit there and a little bit there, and I think that's okay. So what I want to do is add this to my So Saffron layer with my liquid glue. So I'll just go ahead and add the glue, just making sure I catch some in the corners but don't squish it out the way. And the same over here to make sure those corners stay down. Try not to get covered in glue because I'm an expert at that. And then just gently add that on to my So Saffron layer and manipulate that a little bit. Let me see. until I'm happy with the border around it. I think that looks okay. I'll just double check before it sets too much. There we are. And I'll just give it a rub from the back and then put that to the side for now. So lid on the glue, and let's come back to joining the box together. So I'm going to take the backing tape off of here, fold this in and fold this side over to match up. There we are. I'll just give it a little bit of a fold both ways. And then at the bottom, first of all, I'm going to take the backing off these little panels here. Oops. And pop those in. I know I'm right underneath the camera. It's quite a long box. And then bring the back flap in and just let it grip the tape on there, and then the last panel to come over is the panel coming over from the front, and there we are. There's no overlap at the bottom, which is grand. I really should have put this on the box before I glued it together, but it's quite a narrow box, so it's okay. And I think I am going to put that flat rather than pop it up on dimensionals. I put the other one on dimensionals, and after I did it I thought, nah, I don't really like that. So let's compare once I've done this one, and you can let me know what you think. More glue again. Told you, I am a disaster with glue. I really am. It's great once it's down and you're able to move your project around a little bit until it's where you want it, but in between times I'm a bit of a disaster. There we go, I'm quite happy with that. I'm not sure what that little mark is just on the side of my So Saffron card, but I don't think it's going to come off, so we'll just ignore that for now. Okay, and the last thing to do is just to grab the 1-inch circle punch, turn it over to this bit on the back and just add a finger notch. Just line it up with an even distance on either side, and maybe about 1/3 to 1/2 of the way through just cut out a finger notch so that the box is easier to open. Now, I had designed this box for those little rainbow soaps, but I guess you could adapt the length and the width to take a bar of chocolate or something like that. It's entirely up to you because it is your box. And then I'm just going to come back again with my champagne rhinestones. I don't think I'll ever get sick of these, and I'm just going to add one into the middle, oops, of all of my So Saffron flowers. You just don't want to stick, do you? So we'll just get another one. I think it's lost its sticky bit. One there. Oops. One there. One there. And I guess because this is Sunday the 22nd of March that I'm filming this, I'm not sure when you'll see it, but today is actually Mother's Day or Mothering Sunday in the UK. So I guess you could, if you had a bar of chocolate or a little box of chocolates or a makeup palette or something like that, you could change this sentiment here to Happy Mother's Day and give it as a Mother's Day gift. So that's lid on the glue. That's my box made with the Subtles family, and this is my box made with the Brights family. I think I prefer the panels stuck right down, I have to say. And the last thing that we have to do is add a piece of ribbon, and I'm just trying to look at all my yellow ribbons. This is the Pineapple Punch, which matches the Lovely Lipstick ribbon because it's an in colour. I think that's just a little bit too bright, so I'm not going to have that one. I do quite like the Daffodil Delight, although it's a bright colour rather than a subtle. It matches quite well. And the only other one that I had to try was the White Crinkle ribbon, but I don't like that either. So Daffodil Delight it is, and I'm just going to bring enough round to tie in a bow. Grab my ribbon scissors and just cut a length, but I don't think this is too noticeable that it's not a subtle colour. Try and pop that through whilst keeping it tight round the box. There we are. Probably one of the best bows I've tied, with the tails going in the right direction. And because it's a small box, I kind of want a small bow. I don't want it too big. There we are, and just cut there and there. And there we are. Two boxes, exactly the same, but they look totally different. I definitely prefer it not raised up on dimensional, so I might change this box later and make that the same. So thanks for watching. I hope you've managed to stick with me until the end. Let me know what you think, and equally let me know if you make one. I'd love to see your creations as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and press the little bell so that you get notified of all my other videos as I post them. Because of the way the world at the minute, I'm trying to do a little bit more crafting and share a little bit more crafty love around as well. So hopefully you'll tune in for the next one, which hopefully will be in the next couple of days. If you're looking to place an order, remember that Celebration and all the free items ends in 10 days time. The Thoughtful Blooms, which is the stamp set here, does go at the end of Celebration as well, but it's free with a £45 spend. So if you want it, you'll need to be quick. If you want a catalogue and you don't already have a demonstrator that you work with, please do let me know if you're in the UK, Austria, France, Germany or the Netherlands, and I'll more than happily send you one free of charge. And any other questions, just feel free to get in touch. Until I see you again, take care. Bye for now.